I've just tested 7 very affordable watches inside of Herman, my 60-meter water resistance tester, and in today's video I'm going to show you what happened. The first watch is a Bernie, a very affordable Bernie. I wasn't overly impressed with this watch and I was half expecting it to fail actually. I did the usual test, put the watch inside of Herman, increased the pressure, waited a few minutes and then dropped the watch into the water, released the pressure. What you're looking for here is an explosion or implosion of some sort, or lots and lots of bubbles. You will get some bubbles. That's quite normal because air gets trapped underneath the crown, in the spring bars and in little nooks and crannies. But on this occasion, there weren't many bubbles, and as far as I'm concerned, this one passed. So yeah, that's a good sign, isn't it? The second watch to go inside a Herman was a Bodery Diver. So you would expect this one to pass. I did the same test and I got the same results. As far as I'm concerned, it is a pass. There were quite a few bubbles, but that's because there's a diver's bezel, lots of little details and nooks and crannies on this watch for bubbles to, or air to, cling on to. And so, yeah, then when you release the pressure, all those bubbles expand and come up to the surface. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, another pass. Watch number 3 was a Tandorio. I think I've had more passes than fails now with Tandorio. The first 2 watches from Tandorio that I tested failed dramatically. But ever since then, I think I've had all passes. So although I would still be a little bit hesitant to swim with the Tandorio because I think you will get the odd watch that will fail dramatically, it's still a good sign, isn't it, that yeah, more watches have now passed the test, and this one again passed the test. Nice. Next up, we've got a Watch Dives watch. I think this is the first Watch Dives watch that I've tested. I did again the same test, put the watch inside a Herman, increased the pressure, dropped the watch into the water after a few minutes, slowly released the pressure, and I saw the number of bubbles that I would expect to see. So again, yeah, another pass. Next up, we've got a very familiar looking Militado. Again, I did the same test, dropped the watch into the water after a few minutes, slowly released the pressure, and I saw the number of bubbles that I would expect to see. So as far as I'm concerned, it's another pass. Where are the fails? I don't know. Sometimes I want these watches to fail. It's exciting. Now it's the turn of an Addies dive, and it's important to note that I have taken this watch apart because there was some stuff under the crystal. So when I produced my video on this watch, I did disassemble this watch and then reassemble it, and I've only done the water resistance test after I've reassembled it. It did pass. Great news. So I'm not a complete loser when it comes to disassembling and reassembling watches, but it may not be a true reflection of what turned up because I have essentially affected its water resistance capabilities by undoing the case back, removing the movements, putting it all back together, and yeah. But at least it shows I'm capable of taking watches apart and putting them back together and them still being water resistant. And the last watch to go inside of Herman is, again, another Militado. And I'm really sorry to say, guys, it's another pass. I mean, it's good. It's good that these watches are passing. It sort of gives us confidence that the engineering and the build quality is good enough for us to potentially swim with these watches. Of course, it's always important to remember that every watch is different. So although my watches have passed today, the ones that you buy, there's no guarantees necessarily. So make sure your crowns are done up, make sure your case backs are done up, and yeah, fingers crossed. You'll be all right. I'm not backing that statement. No guarantees. Swim with your watches at your own risk.